Ecco le squadre per l'Italia e il Sudafrica. Sorry if I butchered that. Here are the teams for Italy and South Africa. This should be an absolute cracker in Turin this weekend. Italy off the back of a famous victory against Australia. And the box after, in my humble opinion, the performance of 2025 with that solid win over France in Paris. Well, there's no change for Italy. It's all change for South Africa. So much to discuss. Let's get into it. Let me know your thoughts in the chat down below. Give the video a thumbs up. If you appreciate the content on the channel, please hit subscribe. There is the Italian team. And yeah, they must be absolutely bouncing after a win against Australia. And hey, look, you could say with some logic, Australia beat South Africa. Italy beat Australia. Therefore, Italy are the best team in the world. We're going to find out how good they are, because I think this is just about the strongest Italy team that Gonzalo Quesada can name. Really impressed with it. 6-2 bench is understandable, given the opponents. The tight head props swap around. Riccioni can get a little bit, can feel vulnerable at times. I wonder if that is Ferrari, the stronger scrummaging tight head, to try and counter the South African bench, which always seems to have a big impact. Favretto and Odiasi onto the bench. Fresh energy, good players. And yeah, as I say, confidence will be boosted. It's a good team. And when you look back at that Australian performance, the win against Australia, it was those halfbacks were absolutely class. Stephen Varney and Paolo Garbisi looked great together. They really did. They managed the game. They put the ball in the right parts of the pitch, were a genuine threat running the ball and distribution, but their kicking game was on point. All of those things are going to have to be replicated. We know they've got quality outside, and Brex and Cello are an absolutely elite centre pairing, and I'm really looking forward to the matchup, and I'll come on to South Africa in a minute. Monty Ioane is like a dog chasing after a ball in the park. He just never stops running. So his kick chase is going to be really important. And they've got a bit of X factor in Ange Capuozzo at the back. Front five, as well as the halfbacks, the front five for Italy had massive games. Niccolò Canoni was enormous. And that is probably the biggest challenge for Italy to replicate coming into this, which will be a side very much capable, because it's done it against better opposition than this Italian team. They have the potential to grind Italy into dust. And there are the box. So generally speaking, no change for Italy. A few little tweaks here and there. All change for South Africa, and try and keep up with all of these changes. First thing, just look at that bench. Look at that bench. This weekend, we are getting some wildly talented benches. England and New Zealand's are just outstanding. But that is more madness, and I love it. Another 5.5, 2.5 split. You could argue 6-2 now. Andreas de Hazen, almost a fully fledged flank, but a genuine option in multiple positions. But it feels even more impactful because the replacement hooker is starting on the field. So there are 4 locks or loose forwards on the bench, which definitely makes it feel like a 6-2, even though it's a 5.5, 2.5. You could argue it's a 6.5. No, that's not right. As I was. So yeah, Marco van Staden is the replacement hooker, and he is starting at number 8. And there will be some people that looked at that and went, Arkea Sneeman, number 18, what's going on? You're not allowed to do that, are you? Well, yeah, you are. You only have to have 6 trained and capable front row options in your 23-man squad. You could start with all of them on the pitch if you so wished, just as long as there are 6 people that can scrummage. So in the event of one player getting injured in any one position, there is at least one person that can come and fill in. Wouldn't it be cool if Ethan Hooker was the replacement hooker for South Africa? It's going to be Marco van Staden, but who knows? Maybe Quacker Smith's been training in that position, or maybe Andreas de Hazen's going to come on. You just never know these days. I think we do know. It's Marco van Staden, but that's an interesting one, and so much impact off the bench. Of the guys that started in Paris, Boan Fenta and Sia Khaleesi are retained in the pack. That makes sense. Fenta played 30 minutes, Khaleesi 40. They'll still be fresh. Johan Grobbelaar steps up from the bench to the starting lineup this time. He only played, a minute, 2 minutes on Saturday. So you wonder, with again, unless there's an injury, you wonder if he'll get maybe even a whole match under his belt. The rest of the bench, exactly the same as it was, except for Quacker Smith coming in because there is no hooker needed on the bench. As for the back line, Kurtley Arendse and Damian Fillemser continue. And then it's 5 completely fresh faces into the 22. And that man photographed Hondre Pollard with Morné van den Berg. It is interesting, isn't it, how they almost seem to have paired up the halfbacks. I wonder if in training they're doing it to increase the levels of cohesion. So you almost have 3 pairs, almost like dance partners or something. You've got Grant Williams and Marnie Le Boc on the bench. You've got Morné van den Berg and Hondre Pollard, who did play earlier this year. It was the 2 of them that played against Italy in one of the games in South Africa back in July. Pretty sure that was the case. Anyway, and then Kobus Reinach and Sasha Feinberg Ngomazulu, and those 2 are rotated out. I quite like the approach of having them in pairs. Obviously, I'm sure in training they work with each other as well, and we've seen Grant Williams and Sasha work well together and various other combinations, but it's just quite cool. It's one way to get a little extra bit of cohesion. And in terms of new combinations, that centre pairing, it is the first time we have seen Ethan Hooker wearing a number 12 jersey on his back, playing for the Boks, and him and Keenan Moody, young, powerful, quick, explosive. This could be a glimpse into the future of that South African midfield. I'm so excited to see that. It looks dynamite. Edwill van der Merwe on the wing means, we've got the quota of scrum cap wearing Power Ranger wingers. And Edwill van der Merwe, just so you know, he is guaranteed to score at least 1 try. He's got 5 tries in 4 internationals. He doesn't play much, but when he plays, he always scores. And yeah, so that'll be the case. He could end up, even by the end of his career, with more tries than games, but he maybe doesn't play in the big games. He just plays against Italy and Georgia and Portugal and Wales. Sorry, Wales. I had to say it. Anyway, really, really good team. And the frightening potential of that bench. Even, Italy did really well against Australia. Even if Italy, which they could well do, because they've got some really good players, have a good 50 minutes, you just feel, when you look at that bench, the Boks are inevitable. I've got a 23-man squad, combined 23-man squad. If you had all of those Boks, if you had all of the Italians, and you put them together into one team. I didn't even mention, by the way, Ben Jason Dixon. Good to see him play. His first match for South Africa since the Rugby Championship in 2024. Injuries kept him out all of last year, and he was looking like he was going to be that Pieter-Steph du Toit clone. Just like, not quite as good, but very, very good. Who is as good as Pieter-Steph du Toit, to be honest. And they've also got a few players that are still out that can do a job in that position, like Elric Lowe. So, yeah, I mean, crazy depth. Zachary Porthen gets another go as well at tight head. Anyway, 23-man squad. If you had all the Italians, all the Boks, who would you pick? That is what my combined team looks like. And I had to go for Marco Riccioni over Zachary Porthen because Zachary Porthen's almost played as many international matches as he has franchise matches. This is his second international. So I've got to go for Riccioni there. Zuliani, I've been a little bit cheeky. I've gone for Zuliani over Ben Jason Dixon. I know Sia Khaleesi, yes, he wears 6 and Zuliani 7, but they play the same position, but they're both too good to leave out. So I've just been cheeky and put them both in. And I've gone for Lorenzo Canoni over Marco van Staden. Marco van Staden is brilliant on the flank. I'm sure he can do a very good job at number 8, and we'll see. I wonder I wonder if Sia Khaleesi might pack down in sometimes at number 8. Maybe on attacking scrums, it'll be Khaleesi packing down at number 8. But I've gone with Lorenzo Canoni, more of a classic number 8, and a really, really good player. Great ball carrier, a rangy runner, offloads, passes when he gets going. So I just think that back line, if I was going to go with Khaleesi and Zuliani, 2 kind of slightly smaller, quicker across the field, breakdown threats, I've gone with a classic number 8 as well. As for the back line, all South Africa except for Brex and Cello. We need a name for Hooker and Moody. Brexancello for the Italians. Muka. Hoodie. I'll work on that and I'll get back to you on that. But the back three, all South Africa. As good as Monty Ioane is, I've gone for the scrum cap wearing Power Rangers. And the bench, no surprise, it's all green and gold. And that will win the game, even if Italy manage to hang in there for the first hour, which I expect them to probably do reasonably well. I think in the end it will be a 18, yeah, I'm going to say an 18-point victory for the Boks. What should we say? 38, 38-20. There we go. 38-20, final score. There's my prediction. Let me know what you think. I'm looking forward to this weekend's rugby already. It's Thursday. Can start getting properly excited now the teams are out. By the way, Rassie Erasmus, I'm actually gonna, let's say it's fair enough. Enjoy that win in Paris the other night. If him and the coaches were getting on it for the last couple of days or last 4 days, absolutely fine. But I want an early Bok team announcement next week, please. This waiting until after Italy have named their team before you name your team, Rassie. It's very, very out of character. I can only assume it was the celebrations of the win last week. We'll see. Right, I'll see you on the next one.